This is the Big Stories Podcast, where we tell the amazing and inspiring stories from across the Big 12 Conference.
I'm your host, Cleon Wall, and welcome back to another bi-weekly update of the Big Stories Podcast. We continue to get closer and closer to Season 4 of Big Stories. The first episode will drop just a few days prior to Week 1 of the college football season. In the meantime, we continue to experiment with Big Stories as a video product, even though our focus remains on inspiring and uplifting tales from the Big 12 and beyond. We are also recapping BYUtv's Big Stories from last season with some updates, and this week's first story had a big update since we talked with him last summer. We're talking about former Utah Ute Jordan Gross.
Growing up in Fruitland, Idaho is, very similar to how it is now. We're like perfectly Americana here where we're at. Small town, in the country, you know. It's the name of your high school is the town you're from, and the other town you're playing, that high school is the name of that town, and you play those kids in basketball and wrestling and baseball.
While Jordan was a multi-sport athlete earning varsity letters in basketball and track, the sport he focused on the most was football, becoming a force on the offensive line. He caught the eye of coaches at Utah, and head coach Ron McBride eventually offered him a scholarship after one of Jordan's basketball games.
I just felt a connection to him. I think the world of Coach Mack. I tell my players I love them, and that's because Coach Mack, love you, man. You know, that's one of his mantras.
Jordan had a great career at Utah, was selected by the Carolina Panthers with the 8th pick in the 2003 NFL Draft, and had a successful NFL career. After he retired from the NFL, Jordan decided he wanted to stay close to the game that made him the person he is. And there was no better place to give back than his high school in Fruitland, Idaho, where he became their head football coach. Becky Vidlak and Sarah Weatherspoon are the mothers of a couple of Fruitland players.
He's more than their football coach. At least for my son, he's a huge mentor in his life. I know he actually truly cares about my son. You know, he tells our kids he loves them. He doesn't just say it, he actually shows it.
I would say after we lost the playoff game, coach stood on the field and shed tears with the boys and shared his love for them. And I think that was a pivotal moment, not just for my son as an athlete, but also my husband who coached, to just feel like all of these hours and all of this effort is totally worth it because football found my son and it's helped him grow as a human to be loved and mentored at the same time.
I think those last two sound bites shows how much Coach Gross cares about the kids. In 2025, his team won the Snake River Valley Conference, but lost in the second round of the Idaho State football tournament. Since that time, Jordan was hired as the University of Utah's new offensive line coach. It's a nice full circle moment. He also is coaching a guy he's very familiar with.
We have a very successful player on our team right now that's committed to Utah named Kelvin Obot. And I've spent a lot of time with him, and he said that I honestly don't know where my life would be without you. It's kind of why we're here. So because that was a special moment for me.
You know, there's so much that he's taught me. Not only has he been a great football player, but just a great person. So much I've learned from him, just to be becoming a young man and the mentality required for, this job.
So what's my big takeaway from this episode? Never underestimate the power of mentorship. Jordan received amazing mentorship from his high school and college coaches, and now he's using his experiences to do the same for the upcoming generation. When you invest in someone else's future, you create a legacy that outlasts any trophy or title. You should check out the full story at BYUSN.com. Now we're going to transition from the football field to the wrestling mat and talk about one of the most legendary families, not just in Iowa State wrestling history, but in all of college wrestling. It's the Carr family.
The Carr family is one of the most important families in the history of college wrestling.
1980 Big 8 champion at 150 pounds, Nate Carr, currently ranked number 1 in the country.
Nate Carr had some moves that nobody did.
Nate Carr with some flashy work, got all the takedowns.
He had fluidness, he had power.
You don't win 3 NCAA titles without having a huge heart.
Against Nate Carr.
Nate's greatness paved the way for his family, passing the torch to his son.
Nate Carr was phenomenal when he was here, but right now, David Carr is the name.
Well, as soon as I heard he was coming to Iowa State and I saw the last name, gee, I wonder if he's any relation to Nate Carr.
If you look at the Carr family, we do not have an Olympic gold medalist. So now that opportunity has been passed on to David.
David immediately started showing everyone in college wrestling that he was going to live up to the Carr family legacy. But winning wasn't going to be easy. An intense rivalry started between David and University of Missouri wrestler Keegan O'Toole. Just ask Nate.
It's tough to win an NCAA title, let alone wrestling one of the best guys. O'Toole will learn something from David and use David's move on David the next time he wrestles.
It's exactly what everybody was hoping for. Keegan O'Toole, David Carr.
Now, the Big Stories TV team dives deeper into just how intense these matches were and some of the legacy-defining matches between David and Keegan, but you should go check their video out for yourself to see that. Again, BYUSN.com. I wanted to check in on David and see what he's been up to since graduating from Iowa State. David made the Team USA Senior World Team and has been competing at different events throughout the world. Notably, he finished 5th place at the World Championships in 2025 and a 4th place finish at the U.S. Open in 2026. He continues to stay close to Ames and has posted many videos of himself training with the wrestling team and mentoring different players. Based off of what he's posted, I can tell he's working harder than ever to compete with the best wrestlers in the world. My biggest takeaway from David's story is the impact he's had on others. He showed us that the most important thing we leave behind is the way we touch people's lives. Even while competing in the most aggressive matches, he showed love and respect to his opponents.
One of the things that I want to leave, rather than just the trophies, the gold medal, the national titles, is who I am as a person. If they can remember just how I treated them and how I treated them with love, to me, that's enough.
Again, you can check out the full story at BYUSN.com. Thanks for listening and watching the Big Stories podcast from BYU Radio. We will be back in 2 weeks with more stories from around the Big 12 and beyond. I'm your host, Cleon Wall, and Big Stories is a production of BYU Radio.